hang up and try again.
Good to see you. And he serves the whole time.
What are you guys' views on that? What they did to him?
He was railroaded.
Railroaded.
I don't know remember that.
What do you say?
Beat me up.
What do you say? What do you say? What are your views on them railroading Traficant here?
Well, you know what?
The government.
What they did to Traficant, they could have done to every member of Congress. And my belief is that if we had the true power, we the people in there, an educated electorate, then maybe the next step to do as most of the Congress what they did to Jim Traficant.
What's your name, buddy?
Richard Trask. I'm with the Ashtabula County Liberty Meetup.
Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.
Yep.
Are we ready for a better speaker than myself? Somebody who probably has been around definitely the block a lot more than me, and that's pretty hard to say. So I think most of us came because we believe the Federal Reserve is the scourge of our freedom, the scourge of individual thinking, and they really propagates this system we have. And the next gentleman that's going to speak, I'd like to take a time to introduce him. He's a former U.S. Congressman from Youngstown, Ohio. He served as a Democratic Party as a candidate in Congress. He'll tell you all about the fun he's had with both parties, the Democrats and the Republicans. And I'd like to introduce a man I really look up to, Jim Traficant.
Glad you made it. How you feeling? It'll hold up. I think there's Iris.
Thank you. Thank you for having me. I'm glad to be here. I'm glad to be anywhere. Every time I come to Cleveland, I get an upset stomach. Every time I come here, I'm fighting for my life. Technically, the government can come in and put handcuffs on me without a hearing and take me off to prison. So I guess I better watch what I say. Nah, you don't want to hear that. Well, it's good to see you. It's not a great turnout. The problem with America, America's concerned, but not involved. Anxious, but passive. And many times, afraid. Some people are afraid to even whisper their concerns. Everybody's talking about ending the Fed. See my little button? Quite frankly, most people that tackle the Fed don't understand the money system. They do more harm than good. It's not a simple thing. It's very complicated. They'll say that the Fed is separate and apart, and to the degree of that, it is a private entity. But there is federal oversight. So as a result, every move that's made to abolish the Federal Reserve System falls upon the shoulders of upset people who are not well schooled in understanding of the monetary system enough to affect those ends, and it usually backfires. So I want you to listen very carefully what I have to say today. The Fed should be abolished. The rudiments of the Fed must be brought under the scope of the Constitution, back to the Congress of the United States. But keep in mind, there will be those opponents who come out and say, do you want your monetary system under the auspices of certain politicians in Washington? And they'll continue to denigrate that change. But you see, ending the Fed is only the second phase of the process that's needed in the United States. We are bankrupt. And the Fed has become nothing more than a behavior modification program for the economy of the United States. But that behavior modification program is manifested through a very complicated and sophisticated tax code. So when I'm talking to you today, I'm talking to you about not just the Fed, Federal Reserve System, I'm talking about the progressive income tax. I want you to listen very carefully, because you have to be better schooled, more knowledgeable. Keep in mind the predicate foundation of Karl Marx's communist program was a progressive income tax. An income tax that is, in fact, right now in place in the United States of America. It rewards dependency, subsidizes illegitimacy, penalizes achievement and investment, chases companies away, creates a second class and maybe even a third class United States of America of citizens who are in a state of despair, living in homes that are boarded up. No one would believe people live inside. And many of these impacted people have no voice. And the voice that exists that contests this whole system is so fragmented and so compartmented, it has no real voice. The first phase must be to abolish the Internal Revenue Service and repeal the 16th Amendment of the United States Constitution. That's the first step. That must be done. That must be done. If that is not done, America will absolutely collapse and implode. I want you to listen to my statement. Do not believe that what happened to the Soviet Union is not possible in the United States. Now, this talk about a recession and the recession almost over, don't believe it. I believe that unemployment in America is closer to 20% than it is to 10, number one. And number two, very important, if you took Social Security dollars and Medicare dollars out of this economy, this depression would make 29 look like a fender bender. In 1929, there was no Social Security, no Medicare money. Take that money out today and compound it with the economic crisis we have, and what are we looking at? And I'm not here to target any political factions. I'm a very unusual man to speak before you. I'm probably the only man that can make this statement. I've been targeted by both the Republicans and Democrats. I've been targeted by the United States Justice Department and the most powerful lobby in the world, the American-Israeli Public Affairs Committee. They don't want to hear what I have to say. But let's just look a minute and think. How can we change the structure of America before it implodes? Because if it does implode, listen to me carefully, I believe the first state to go will be Alaska with its own revenue stream. Then I will see a compact of donor states that are tired of sending money to Washington without getting an adequate return. And you'll start to see the bickering and the fighting within the states themselves. Keep in mind that we are the United States of America, not the central government of America.